So the countdown to this year's World Cup is well and truly on as 32 nations combine to create the greatest sporting spectacular on the bloody planet. But in this video, I'm going to try and answer you one simple question. Can Netherlands win this year's World Cup? That's right, folks, back once again with another World Cup summary video. That's right, where we're going to try and answer one simple question. Can this nation actually go out and win the World Cup out in Qatar? We'll take a look at it, all of it, in a second. Of course, if you're new, where you've been, smash your subscribe button, bang it. All things World Cup related, Blackburn Rovers related, world football itself related. We got it all here, boys, under one roof. Of course, the countdown is well and truly on, with the tournament set to kick off in November 2022, of course. But what's going to happen this coming World Cup? We'll take a look at all of it in a second. Of course, big shout out to my VIPs. They are the patrons, of course. And if you are interested in helping out the channel in another way, check out the links down below. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Twitch, I'm on Patreon, and of course there's a Discord in there. So get in amongst it and let's get chatting. So let's take a look at the Dutchlands. That's right, the Netherlands, aka Holland, of course. They are there. They're back for a first time. Is it definitely in at least one World Cup? Of course, they qualified as Group G winners, and as you can see down the bottom there, they qualified over the likes of Turkey, and a very, very spicy group, of course, and a group that also included Norway and the Revolution. There's a bit of a golden generation going on over at Norway right now, but that golden generation just simply wasn't enough to get themselves over the line and into at least the runners-up spot. It was so tight, so difficult. Just 5 points separated Netherlands at top spot and Norway in third. And of course, Netherlands did suffer a defeat along their way. I'm trying to have a look at it. Was it the 4-2 loss? A 4-2 loss against Turkey, probably in Turkey. So yes, again, don't get me wrong. Of course, the Dutchlands are a powerhouse in world football. They've gone through the mill a little bit and are trying to get themselves back into the hot seat, into of course the spotlight, and bring the focus back over to the likes of Amsterdam and co. Of course, they qualified on the 16th of November 2021 as their 11th tournament as a whole. Their last tournament was back in 2014. Of course, they weren't there in Russia. They were there in, of course, Brazil, with the likes of Van Persie and co, if my memory serves me correctly. A good tournament that was as well. Of course, Germany won it. Just dropping that in there. Meanwhile, this is their first tournament in a row. Of course, their best ever performance was runners-up back in 1974, 78 and 2010. It's been 12 years since that final. Of course, I think Spain. Did Spain win it? Correct me if I'm wrong. Out in was that in Germany or was that in South Africa? My memory is getting a little bit foggy these days. Of course, let's go back there quick just to get another overview of that tournament. Of course, also Montenegro, decent little side as well, but very, very strong group it was in Group G, of course. But they have landed themselves in Group A, which does include the hosts, Qatar, also alongside some difficult competition from South America in Ecuador, and Senegal complete the pack as well. They kick off their opening day against Senegal, which of course they are the champions of Africa, and it'll be a very, very difficult game. A game that probably could go either way. And to be honest with you, the more I think about this, and I've been doing predictions for the World Cup for a long time, for a few months now, and each and every month my view on this group changes. It's so difficult. And of course, the Dutchlands of now are good. They're good. Are they World Cup contenders? We'll talk about that in a little bit. But when I think about it, you know, I look at Senegal as the main opposition here for group winners. I think actually now, right here, right now, it is a toss-up. It's not an easy. It's not given to the Orange and the Dutch. It's not given to the African champions of Senegal. But they are champions of Africa. Put that into perspective here. They've got their tails up. They're riding high. They've beaten some opposition to get to the stage. We'll elaborate on that on a Senegal focus video. But warning. Match number 1 for the Dutchlands up against Senegal is a defining moment. We'll talk about that in a minute. Of course, the Dutch manager is Louis van Gaal. Of course, he's going through some personal issues. Of course, so. You know, he's battling. I think he's battling cancer. So hopefully the Dutchlands, the players, are respectful and do this for him at the very least. No, of course, and for their nation as well. The Dutchlands have been in the shadows of the European other juggernauts such as Germany, France, Spain over the years as well. Can the Dutchlands get themselves back into the spotlight and can be contenders once again for the grand prize of the World Cup? So let's take a look at the VIP match. The VIP is actually Virgil van Dijk, of course. course, Liverpool centre-back there, Dutch commander. I think he's the captain as well. Of course, he is key figure. Keeping him fit, keeping him in the squad is massive. And again, between now, which is September, I'm recording this September the 10th, and of course, kick off to the tournament November the 20th or 21st for the Dutchlands. You've got to keep these guys fit. You've got to keep these key faces. And there are there's a bit of a generation of talent coming through the Dutch football ranks right now, and hopefully we'll get to see a lot of them in this year's World Cup as well. But VVD is he ain't no youngster. He is, of course, in the prime of his life, I would say, as a footballer. He's at around about that age, and a lot of responsibility will be put on his shoulders for him to deliver, especially to get them out of this group stages. I think, of course, that if they can't get out of this group stages, heads will roll. And of course, we're talking about, you know, are there any passengers on the bus for the Netherlands team? Are we just picking players for the sake of it? There are a couple of players that are on borderline, of course, age brackets that should maybe even do they actually warrant a spot in the squad? So Louis van Gaal, of course, the man that's been there, seen it and done it around the world football, has got to make those decisions as, of course, when the deadline day comes around. Key match for them is Senegal. Is match number 1, of course. The tournament does kick off a day prior. Maybe a lot of the sparkle and the fizz would have rolled off a little bit, but still, this is probably the biggest, one of the biggest games in the first round of matches. When you look at all the rest of the groups, Senegal against the Dutchlands is a qualification deciding game. I think you win that one. If the Senegalese win that one, or the Dutch, they are 1 foot into the knockout stages already. That's how important this opening game is, and it's not the case for any other a lot of the other games, you know. But the quality of both these two nations, I think, is very much parallel. Parallel, is that the right word? Very similar. Of course, you cannot rule out the Dutchies, you cannot rule out the Senegalese. And as, of course, that tournament comes around, I'm starting to doubt my pick for top team here. It is very difficult, of course. So the odds right here, right now, 8-1 on for the Dutchlands to qualify out of this group. Now it's, of course, first or second, of course, and the odds for them to win the whole tournament as I was 12-1. But for me, in fact, I'm ready. I think I'm ready, Linda. Hit me.
Can they win the World Cup?
Can they win the World Cup? Of course, I think they can. I think they can realistically win the World Cup. I do. And again, I want to bring up and I'm not trying to put the Dutchlands or put them down here, but of course, if we turn back the clock to when Greece won the Euros, and again, two different kind of nations there, Greece were massively underdogged. The Dutch are probably one of the top 8, top 10 teams in this tournament, so realistically, they can realistically win the World Cup. But as Linda says,
will they win the World Cup?
Will they win the World Cup? No, they won't. No, they won't. I just think they lack an outright goal scorer for me. They've got some proof. I was looking at the team or the squad, the potential squad anyway, for them. They've got a lot of creativity in midfield, but the days of Ruud van Nistelrooy, Robin van Persie are gone, long gone. Patrick Kluivert. They've got no outright scorer. There's not a Lewandowski in there. There's not a Mitrovic, a guy who will put fear in defences. There's a lot of creativity and there are goals in this team, but there is a distinct lack of Dutch talisman at the moment. There are a couple of young guns out there that could eventually merge or evolve into that player, but for me, that is the missing ingredient for this Dutch team. And also, I think that the goalkeeping situation is a little bit iffy as well, with some uncertainty as to who's number 1 in my eyes anyway. But regardless of that, that's my short take on it. For me, though, I do think the Dutchlands will get out of this group. However, I don't even know if they're going to win this group either. I think again, as the days tick by, the hours go by, my belief in the Dutchlands is not weakening, but my belief in maybe Senegal is improving. I think the morale and the confidence is sky high with those Africans, the African champions, of course. So fear the Senegalese and the Dutchlands. They are probably your biggest opponent in this group. No disrespect to Qatar or Ecuador. Get past the first game, you should win it, and then who bloody knows. So I think they'll get out of this. If I'm going to go for it, I think they're going to make it to the quarterfinals, the Dutchlands. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. There you have it, folks. There you bloody have it. A short, sharp take on this nation's chances out in Qatar 2022. What do you expect this country will do in this year's tournament? Do you think they'll get out of the group stages, or do you think they'll go deep, deep, deep into the competition itself? Let me know your opinion down below. And of course, we'll look forward to non-stop coverage right here at Blackburn Overseas. We're going to have, of course, predictions, previews, reviews, reactions, and of course, reactions from real fans themselves, of course. So that's all to look forward to this year out in Qatar 2022. So make sure you smash your subscribe, smash the thumbs up, and smash the little bell, boys and girls, as we look forward to a fantastic winter, or at least late 2022 of world football. Let me know your thoughts and opinions again about this nation, and of course the tournament itself in the comment section. But until then, guys and girls, I'll see you soon for the next one.